And I think we are live. Yes, we are. Welcome to Blender.Today 61.
61, okay.
Hello.
Hello.
Sebastian again. How are
Yes.
you?
Yeah, I'm fine right now. A bit cold, but I mean, it's the weather generally outside.
Come on, you're from Sweden. Isn't that annoying when people say like, oh, why are you cold? You're from like Russia or like Patagonia with penguins, and it's always cold, regardless of where you are.
Yeah, it's mostly you have to have the right clothes.
Exactly.
So I wasn't prepared for this coldness down here. So.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We're testing a new setup. How is everyone? We are testing a 2-microphone setup because just to make it more pro. But I'm not sure how it's going to sound. So please give us a thumbs up if everything is okay. We have here a little thingy to control it in the. If everything goes okay, you know, we're improving. We're getting on the production level up. Actually, we were using this for the podcast in the past. Yeah. So I hope everything is okay, and for you too. It's been quite the week. I was going through all of the changes this week, and it was like some of them are small, but some of them are quite big, and they changed. Yeah, they improved the workflow so much. Some of them are cosmetics, but we're gonna see them all today. You even worked in a one that it's quite big. It's a fix/new feature that
yeah.
Pretty happy is for animation. So we have updates for the interface, animation, grease pencil stuff. What else? Even the sequencer improvements in performance, big improvements in performance. So
that might have broken something else, but we'll not mention that. Or we did, but yeah.
Awesome. So Bodan Low says that we have the voice of an angel with these microphones. So okay, let's bring them up. Our grown-up voices. So let's start. Let's get to it because we have quite the list today. The name of this episode and the hype.
They want me to increase me a bit.
Your microphone.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk a bit louder, or you want to?
I can scream a bit louder.
Oh wait. Okay, now yours is slightly more high, so hopefully everything is okay. Sebastian, louder.
Yeah, just let us know. How,
yeah, let us know with an emoji app.
Yeah.
So okay, let's get to it because it's really a long list today. So first things first, it's the icons. Colored icons in the interface. So
yes, I noticed this morning. It's so nice.
It is quite an improvement, right?
Yeah.
So I hope people were not expecting like the complete color set like it used to be in 2.7, but it's now mainly based on categories. So the same way it makes a connection between the objects. For example, here in the outliner, so objects are orange and the object settings are orange here. The modifiers, for example, if I add a modifier, you will see it's blue, then it's also blue here, and everything that is object level is also blue, such as constraints or physics or particles. They're all object level settings. They're not like on your mesh. They're actually they belong to the object. So that's why they are in the same category. Then you have object data, which is camera data, lamps, you name it. So this is in green, and then you get all the shading stuff, which is red. These colors are in the user preferences, so you can change it as always from the themes, and then user interface, and then color icon colors. Then you can change to be anything you ever wanted. So if you don't like them,
alpha.
if you're already old school, before it was cool, you can choose just a random regular color like it used to be. I think it's probably, yeah, you can even pick a color. So
same as the background.
Same as the background. So you don't like icons at all?
Not see them.
Yeah. No, I think if you don't like icons, there should be there was like a transparency setting that you could change. So that's it actually, non-colored, and then all the colors, RTX off, RTX on. For the colors, it is already available. If you download the latest build, it should be there. Otherwise, you can wait until tonight, and there will be more.
And it should also work on all the graphics cards, not just RTX cards.
Oh no! It's AMD, Intel's, especially Intel.
Yeah.
Everything on your phone, probably not.
We implemented ray tracing with icons
Oh, no, no, no. Okay. That's a nice big emoji. Colors. Yes, people like colors and the colors. I actually like the mock-up that someone made with the actually stripe on the side. So it's not so invasive now.
Oh, yeah, I saw that mock-up.
Yeah, but it's a good step in that direction. I think 2.8 without this wouldn't be the same, and now it actually makes it much better. There are new icons also, by the way, updated this morning, where you can find the little, it was like a face sticking the tongue out. Now the tongue is an image, so it's more like a printer. Because it prints, it's the print settings for the render. There are other changes that are more that are new, actually, not some icon updates, but new icons, such as the kind of selection. When you have the the selection tool in the settings, you will see now that they have a icon. They used to have like intersect, new selection, add to extend the selection, and yeah, this, if you're used to like all the big names such as GIMP or Krita, then just to not name, proprietary stuff. If you're used to the industry standard Krita or GIMP, you'll find this useful. Or Inkscape. Always remind Inkscape. Inkscape, one of my favorite open source
vectorized programs.
Programs. Like, I'm not familiar with the community itself, but I don't know many people in the community, but the program is I don't know, I really like it.
Okay, I haven't used it that much, but
no, it's awesome. I find it very intuitive. Like, I use it every now and then, and every time I remember the shortcuts and stuff.
More intuitive than Blender?
Not 2.8 though.
No.
Not 2.8. I can't say it. Okay. All right. GIMP. I said GIMP. Sorry. Okay. More. By the way, the visibility icons. Speaking of icons, for the screen icon that used to be here, now it's back. So now, if you when you're in the modifiers, you can see the icon.
Oh yeah, it was this chain.
It was a chain icon because that's for linked properties, and it was just the wrong icon. So don't worry. That's why we tend to tell people, do not make tutorials yet, because you're gonna confuse people, or just at least let them know in advance that you're using a beta software. So it's being changed as we speak.
Exactly.
Yes. So more UIs. First, I have a bunch of UI stuff, and then we're going to move to the fun stuff. More interface. File browser. The file browser, there's already a branch where there will be updates on the design, overall design of the whole UI. Like, just make it more standard or less 90s, because the file browser in Blender, it's the same, I think, since forever. The 90s were great.
Yeah.
For many things, music especially, and 3D software, right?
Yeah.
And films.
You can do an old school release of Blender.
Exactly. Best movies came out in that area, and also the file browser came out in that area.
Yeah.
But there are a few things that would make it not super user friendly. There are two things. The bookmarks, for example, they were using a lot of space because they were all like in different panels, and they were all open at the same time. Now, by default, only two of them will be open, which is the system and the favorites. Also, of course, if you keep them all open, you can just see them all. But this will make the list a bit too large, too long, and it would hide the
the open options,
the operator settings, which I would rather have them on the right in the like an end panel or something, I think, because they are next to the open Blender file, I think. Yeah, like also like when you're importing things or exporting, that area is like full of stuff. This one. So I rather would see them on the other side, but this is part of a larger redesign that it's not the scope of 2.8 AD. So one thing though that was added was it's like a fix, an improvement by Julian Eisel, developer of the Blender UI. He made it so now the panel is not hidden, like it's not like the wrong height like it used to be. Now it will scale, it will have the size of the settings, so like as tall as needed to fill all the settings. So that's huge. I can't remember how many times you like link append to like whatever with the file browser, and then you have the settings even collapsed or the wrong size, so you wouldn't see them. Ever run into that issue?
Yeah, I mean, it was a bit cumbersome that you had to scroll down and uncollapse it. And
yeah, and I mean, we still need to work on this a lot. There are a few things that are like this advanced.
A few things.
Scroll. A few things. Scroll. That, for example, here when you are linking or appending, it asks you things that you don't like, not even related to like active collection select or instance collect. Why select? Maybe I'm appending a brush and there's no select, or there's no instance collection. So it's showing options that are not really part of it. But that's it's cool that we still have some quirky areas in Blender, you know, like unfinished, unpolished. 2.81, 2.82. So the asset manager is going to change the file browser a lot.
Yeah, it's going to change the workflow, I think.
Yeah, the workflow and the overall management of files and stuff, I think is going to help a lot. I'm running out of my voice. I spent the last couple hours trying to make this work with the microphone and everything. I hope everything is okay, but I kept my old one in hand with the USB here. Like, look how prepared am I.
Just quickly
plug
it in so we can have free microphone.
Yeah, I usually have also like a small webcam around. Just I've been doing this for over a year now, 2 years actually, live streams. So it's good to be prepared.
Yes.
But not as prepared as the Grease Pencil, another segue, as the Grease Pencil guys are, because they keep improving the Grease Pencil tools in 2.80. So I think this really is going to be quite complete regarding Blender 2. Regarding Grease Pencil animation and the resources. That is like, it's one thing is the tool, like Grease Pencil, it's pretty cool. Yeah. But the other thing is being like providing the community with like files and demos and brushes, and the Grease Pencil team, for example, Matias Mendiola, one of the artists involved in it, came here to Amsterdam to give a training. Oh. Daniel is doing it all over Europe. He has one in Madrid soon. He had it in France, I think. It's like, the fact that the people making the tool are also giving training and providing this.
Do you know where you can find these training courses?
Oh, well, I've seen it on his Twitter.
Okay.
Like, which training? There is the official training from the Blender Institute is on Blender.org. Then you scroll down until here, Blender Institute training. Click on it, and you will be greeted with a bunch of Grease Pencil 5 days. So you just get in touch, and if there is enough people, then we'll find a way of making it work. Then the texture brushes is a pack free for everyone. You don't have to have a Blender Cloud subscription. It's available in the Blender Cloud as of this morning, and it's already a trending topic in the Blender community because it's actually things that you could do before, like the brushes, but this kind of mapping in the viewport with like always oriented like billboards, and that it also works pretty well, and it also follows a stroke. That's new. So it's working really nicely. But you can also.
But you mean that you could do this stuff with the brush engine before? It's just now they have a pack that you can easily download and just.
Yes, well, I mean, some of the things like following the brush and all of that is actually new.
Yeah.
And it's also a lot of works in like improving it, making it look awesome. And yeah, it's just insane. Like, you can do this with Blender. Also here, for example, you can see it like the line. It's following the line, and then you have a UV factor where you can move the pattern, the texture around.
The scaling of the texture.
Just insane that you can do these kind of things with Blender.
Yeah, it went so fast from no 2D stuff at all till bam, and then
yes,
a lot of 2D things.
And then bam. I like it how they finish like super epic. Is like, this Blender. Like, I don't know. Sometimes it makes you feel like these guys are using a different software. It's actually the same Blender that you can all download from Blender.org. So nice. And so nice of them to provide with the download file and a ton of free files also for download here, and they're made by the community, so you can inspect how other people are using Grease Pencil. So it's pretty nice. In the Grease Pencil section, in the Grease Pencil Fundamentals training, at the top you will find a page called Grease Pencil Resources, and you will find there all the links and stuff from here, and it's updated by the Grease Pencil team. So props, Grease Pencil, you're awesome. And a small new thing in the Grease Pencil workflow is that when you're drawing, you can change the color of the stroke directly from the popover here. So you can choose, like, as you're painting, you change it, and then you can change the material.
This small bar is new.
Yes, this stroke color is new. So you can change the material and then set the color directly from here.
Yeah, so you don't have to go down to the material settings.
Exactly. So you can paint directly from the viewport without doing much stuff.
Yeah, that's nice for tablet users.
And the developer Antonio, Blend, is actually on the chat.
Yeah.
How good can you have it? The developers actually chatting here. It's awesome. That's a community feeling.
Yeah, that's really nice.
So gracias, Antonio, for your hard work. It's amazing. You're changing the industry.
Yeah, I think so.
Huh? Yes, yeah, definitely.
I mean, I've seen a lot of nice Grease Pencil animation. If we get a few more features in, I think it can be really huge.
Yep. What is also huge, it's I tried to connect with whatever you're finishing.
Really huge.
What it's also huge, yeah, exactly. Now it's not that huge. It's an improvement in workflow. So we talked about the Grease Pencil tool stroke color being available in the popover. The change in that, like in that workflow that also got improved recently, is that you can change the color of the for example, if you're doing vertex paint, you can change the color from the context menu. So you right click, if you're using left click select, you can right click and choose the color, and as you're painting you can just directly do the
so it's like a quick shortcut.
Yeah, it's right click and then you change it. It's like a right click in menu. If you're using the left click select, here I'm using right click select, so I'm actually pressing the W shortcut, which allows you to access the same. It's like the specials menu. Yeah. Can I move this panel around? No, not with the because of, there.
Yeah. Oh, there's a hidden title bar.
Nice, awesome. So that was a pretty nice addition. It was added by Willem Reinisch.
Oh, okay.
So thank you, Willem. Yeah. Next, another change that Willem did, actually, it was discussed some time ago, and it's another effort in trying to make Blender more consistent in everything, in the naming, in the tools that were added like decades ago. Tries to make it more consistent. So one of the changes was that the remove doubles in Blender, what would allow you, well, it was there since forever. So when you have like a lot of vertices on top of each other, for example, you duplicate and then you forget to, when you cancel, the duplicated vertices will be there. So sometimes you will end up with a bunch of vertices in the same place. So the remove doubles in Blender was called that, remove doubles, which is not always correct because you could have 5 vertices in the same place. So it's not really doubles, it's like multiples. And also it would allow you to have it will give you like a threshold in F6. You'll have like a threshold to remove regarding on the distance, based on the distance. So even the option was called merge distance, but the tool was called remove doubles. Not confusing at all. So in 2.8 now that option is called, like, remove doubles has been renamed to merge by distance. So basically you can access in the same way you did it before, like with the menus. So it's in the, I think it's in vertices, and then you can do merge, and in the merge menu you will find by distance. It's also available in the shortcut Alt M for merge, all the merge options, plus by distance, and the result is the same. It's like the tool itself hasn't changed, just the naming. So click on it, and then you can remove. You can tweak the distance from the redo menu, or if you don't have it enabled, you can also press F9, which is, remember, the same as F6 in 2.7.
Yeah. It's going to be a bit unfamiliar for me now at first, because it's always been remove doubles.
Remove double, yeah. For me, it's yeah, it's remove doubles.
Yeah, I mean,
but it makes sense, right? It's actually merging the yeah.
Yeah, the description now is better, but it's like
it's like
it's always been called that.
Yep. So more in the menus and in the consistency and everything. The normals menu in edit mode has been rearranged, and now it's a bit more clear. It's a bit more easier to access the tools. Basically, it has better naming. It's quite an improvement in make it more consistent. Another change in the symbols, for example, when you're here, you're not gonna find it much, but for example, when you have a Mac, so some commands are with the command key.
Yeah.
So now in the Mac, they will show you the command symbol. So, and if you don't have it, for the font, it doesn't find it. It's gonna say CMD. On Linux, it's gonna say OS for the OS key, and on Windows, it's gonna say Win for the Windows key.
For the Win key, if you press it, you win.
You win, yes. I guess, right?
Yeah, I guess.
Yes, the instant win.
Instant win key.
Yes. So let's continue with these are small ones in the interface. Actually, it's hard to see maybe at the small size, but the separation lines that were visible in 2.7 and in 2.8 until last week, those 3 columns down here.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if we get to see it, but the columns had like this line between them, which didn't really help in a way. Like it was like they were there, but they weren't like giving any extra information, right? Like the spacing usually is enough. And also the line between the object and the object data, or the whatever item and the data, was also removed because it was really not really saying much. So now everything is a bit more clear.
Yeah, and I don't really notice them gone because the color scheme was so low contrast, so you
couldn't see it. Actually, they were hard coded to be dark, so you wouldn't even like, yeah. If you had a bright theme, it was probably on the way because it was hard coded to be dark. So yeah, it would be even worse. So now it's actually much better. Then the separator on horizontal lines is also gone. Now when you select many things, you're gonna see that it's actually pretty neat and clean. And another thing that I just did now was I'm moving from the user interface, but I just did it and I wanted to share it, is that you can click anywhere to deselect.
Oh yeah, there was some bug report about that.
Oh, but now it works.
A few weeks ago, but yeah.
Oh no, actually, but that was added like last week.
Yeah.
Every editor where it makes sense, you can click anywhere for deselecting. So in the same way that it was added some months ago for the 3D view, they can right click or left click, whatever your click choice is, anywhere to deselect. It also applies now to pretty much every editor where it makes sense. So I would think even in the UV editing, you right click, it works. In the nodes editor, so if you, for example, have nodes here, you can select them or click anywhere and deselect. That's pretty neat. So now it actually makes everything is more consistent. Yay! Is everything okay in the chat? You're keeping an eye on it, just if you find anything crazy going on.
Yeah, I mean, people are writing stuff, or yeah. So
yes,
that's what's
excitement.
Stuff.
As long as it's excitement, because sometimes I get too excited about showing stuff that maybe they're not really that exciting for anyone.
Everybody's like,
it's good to see that people are sharing excitement. Okay, let's continue. So yeah, I need to hire someone to go through the spam spam list. And speaking of new things, awesome things in the user interface is the option to change. Since we are here, what a segue! Today is like going one after the other. Is that in this editor in the
the shader editor.
The shader editor in the well, actually the viewport in LookDev, but it's in the when you're editing a shader in the LookDev mode, you can now change the size of these spheres. So you're gonna find it in the 3D view, and it should be somewhere here. You're gonna find it. We need a search for this thing, right?
Oh yeah, you can't search in the.
You can't search this thing.
Options.
But believe me, it's there together with an option actually here in the 3D view where you can change the object origin size. So you will find this setting. It was elsewhere, and now if you have it enabled, for example, in layout, it's very clear. I think it was in the 3D. It was in the user interface, and now it was moved here. So you can now change the size of the the dot here inside. That's a small little addition that was added, and I think that's it. Yes, let's see, theme settings.
I think it might be in the shader editor or something.
Shader? No, because it's in the viewport.
Oh yeah,
that's where I will look for it. So if it is not there, and it's probably here in gizmos. No. Styles.
But anyways, I mean,
state. No, wait.
Okay.
No. It's I should have pointed. Sometimes I save the commit. So if you see the commit, you can see in which panel it was added. So oh wait, viewport. There is a viewport. It's not a theme setting.
Oh yeah, right.
Look, the ball size.
Yeah.
That's how you. So how big are your
balls?
Look, the 400 pixels. That's insane. Crazy. Hey, if there is any user interface developer there, would be awesome if we could map the click and drag on these balls to the rotation of the world. Totally awesome. How do you like to do UI stuff?
Yeah, but I mean, the most issue with UI stuff is that you have to usually discuss it a bit more before committed, so you can't be like, okay, this is okay for me. Just put it in.
Okay, because it takes a lot of discussion. Okay, discussion over. Just click left, and then it goes to minus 180. Click right to 180. That would be awesome. Or if anybody is inspired, that would be pretty cool to have. So I also do ask feature requests, and it worked a few times. People from the community feel like helping out, because sometimes it's a small feature and it's very clear where it needs to be done.
Yeah.
So it's actually a good
yeah, it's a good task to try to solve.
Get involved in Blender. If you already compiled Blender, if you want to click around, call it spheres. Yeah, right. Balls. Yeah, spheres. Yes, yeah, actually, yes. You know, that's what the older you get, the bigger your spheres get. Okay, interesting. Click and drag to rotate the spheres. Yeah, sorry about the balls, but it's the I hope the
standard definition.
It's not industry standard. It's that there is no English native speaker usually in the community around for doing this kind of stuff.
Well, I mean, there are balls, but I mean, it's the
it just sounds a bit weird.
Yeah.
It's a sphere.
But I mean,
it's 3D. Fun. It's fun, but yeah, but no. The annotation tool is now available in the sculpt and paint mode. So when you are, for example, sculpting, you can also access at the end, or in whatever mode you are, you're gonna also be able to draw, and you probably need to have the annotations.
Yeah.
That's something we need to fix. We need to enable the annotations in the sculpting. Yeah. So they are there. So it's pretty cool. You can switch from like doing painting, and then you paint, you sculpt, and then you do some annotations.
they do something wrong, and then you can just...
Oh, you can even access with D. That's cool. So your paint is like, there. You can, in the annotation tool, probably should be able to change the placement. Yeah. So in the view,
that might be quite nice if you're doing some like sculpting tutorial, and can be like quickly just draw some arrows or something. It
kind of works. Actually, it's applied to the mesh before being sculpted on, which makes no sense as a user, but from the coding perspective, yeah,
it does, because it doesn't save the result to the original mesh
unless you're done in edit mode. If I go to object mode and then back to sculpt, then it should work, right? Yeah, it works. Yeah, it works. Yeah, you need to go out of and in of edit mode, because that's when the mesh actually gets saved. Yes. Awesome. Okay, then more. Okay, the renaming of the removed doubles I already mentioned. The reorganization of the proportional editing tools. That's another user interface thing that change that happened last week, is that when you were in object mode, you wouldn't see a difference. You could enable and disable proportional editing, but if you were in edit mode, then the proportional editing wouldn't be like when you had it like connected only, for example, it wouldn't highlight properly here. So now the settings have been moved to a pop over, these ones that they're like menus but with more options, and you can enable them from here, and also it's going to change accordingly.
Oh, okay, so that's how we toggle the different modes
now. They're connected or not connected. In 2.7 I believe it was in the same menu. Which one? This one. There you go. So you had to in edit mode.
Oh yeah, in edit mode.
In edit mode,
then they had arrows, and then you could.
That was the issue, that in object mode it was just a toggle, and then in edit mode it was a menu.
The different options now.
But now it's more consistent. Yay for consistency. 2.8. All right.
It should be the release name. Then 2.8 consistency.
Or it actually is a workflow project. It's the name of 2.8. All right. The next improvements, I think we're getting there. The tool system for UV sculpting. So in not a lot of people know that you can actually sculpt your UVs in Blender. So when you are taking, of course, a cube, it's not going to make a lot of sense, but in Blender 2. I'm comparing everything with 2.7 today. I don't know why.
Couldn't you sculpt in 2.7 too?
Yeah, you could, but it was a bit hidden. Like where is it? In the UV image editor.
But you can also change to the UV edits.
Yeah, but by default in Blender, the objects don't have a UV.
So you need to unwrap them.
Yeah, like Blender has grown so much. Now it has a UV by default. The UV sculpt, it was a mode, like a model mode with its own settings. It was kind of a bit weird how it worked. You have to go to the UV menu, enable it, and then it was model. So you could only do this, and then you have to like queue out of it. And to change the settings, you have to go here and then change like from a drop-down menu. Like, what year is it even that we had to do this? And I can't even grab. There you go.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
Why?
I don't know, but let's hope it works in 2.8.
Interesting. Lock borders called. It was locking the borders.
Oh
yeah, for like makes sense. Anyway, it was kind of cumbersome to use it because you have to like go to a menu. Now with the new tool system, Blender.
There's a lot more discoverability.
You can see them here. You have even little nice icons for it, and it
just works out of the box.
It works as expected, kind of. Now it does. The same way, actually, the functionality itself hasn't changed that much, but now it's making use of the new tool system. Yeah, so it's pretty nice how you can break your UVs. And I think that's all for the UI. The UX thing that I wanted to mention was that you can select anywhere. I already mentioned this. The other thing regarding user interface is that there were some settings, some properties that were not possible to add to the quick favorite menus. And some people were reporting them, and there were, some of them were corner cases, but there was basically some checkboxes were not
in the
available
toolbar here.
In the tool, for example. So X meter. If I want to X meter, it wasn't possible to add to the quick favorites. Now it should.
Yes, the issue was that you couldn't add them in the toolbar tab here, but you could if you drop down the tool settings. So if you right click and then tool settings, then options, you could add it here, but not from there. So it was.
But now you can.
Yeah, so now you
can. Consistency.
Consistency. Now you can add from both places.
Yes.
So that was one of the issues I reported to Campbell, and he fixed it.
Awesome. So X mirror is just one of the options, but actually probably apply to more options in this.
Yeah. Usually all the
check
on
boxes.
and off options.
Oh, so you can do auto merge editing from here.
Exactly.
Ooh, nice. Q2.
So and I'm also currently working on trying to get them to be bindable to shortcut keys. Also,
that would be awesome.
It's already possible if you know how to do it, but you can't like right click.
Right click. Shortcut. Yeah, where is it?
Yeah.
So awesome. Another thing that I noticed, since you're gonna look into this, is that you cannot do. You can use the numbers. You know, in every menu in Blender, if you press number 1, it does this. This number 2, 3, 4, like there.
But not in the quick.
Not in the quick favorites. I just did Q1 and it doesn't do it.
Yeah, I think it's code-wise is that they take this code from the toolbar and have them.
Okay, but okay.
But it should be doable, I guess, and then it's much more usable because then you can just quickly instead of having to click. Okay.
Try not to hit the. I'm not sure how loud is this, but sometimes I notice. No, because it vibrates. I mean, if people are with the headphones.
Oh, okay, but have you seen like Phoenix Wright? It's like slam.
What?
Phoenix Wright.
No, what is it?
It's a Nintendo game where you slam your hands into the table.
Yeah, I don't think it's for people with headphones though.
Objection.
Okay, next changes regarding your changes, actually regarding animation. So you made it so the X mirror. Well, why don't you introduce it?
Oh, okay. Well, the issue that we fixed now is that you couldn't use X mirror in post mode before.
Yeah.
The option was there, but it did nothing.
It did nothing. That's pretty useful.
You could just check it, but nothing happened. So now we fixed so you can use X mirror in post mode, and you can also instead of just mirroring, you can use something that's called relative mode. And what that means is that with normal X mirror, if you have like my hands are 2 bones, and you move one of the bones, the other bone moves with it. And mirrors it perfectly. So if the previous position of another bone was up here and you grab this one, it would snap down to the mirror position. But now if you activate relative mirror and you have your other bone up here and this is the active bone, it will move with it relatively.
Okay, I believe you, but let's try it in real life. So for example, I have this with X-axis mirror enabled. Yeah. I can just, by the way, I opened this file from 2.7 just out of hoping it will work, but anyway. So I have X-axis, so it moves both at the same time. So let's say I put it down here. I disable X-axis, and then I move this one down here. Yeah. And you're telling me that now, if I enable relative mirror, it's gonna apply the relative motion movement from here into the other one.
It should.
What? Yeah. It works. It even works. That's so nice.
Yeah. So that was one of the features the animators here at the Blender studio requested to be added. And
so basically upstairs?
Yeah. So we added it now.
That's awesome. Relative mirror. And then it snaps back if it's... Yeah, because X-axis, it basically just takes the position from one side and applies the negative on the other side.
Yeah.
More or less. So, okay, how are my mad animation skills here? I could do this for hours. Yeah.
Live animation tutorial by Pablo.
Yes.
On Blender.Today. Sign up now. Just
Phoenix Wright. There you go. You get a lot of people from Phoenix Wright.
Yeah, Phoenix Wright.
Huh. All right. So awesome new feature. Thank you for implementing it. You like doing animation tools?
Yes, I do. Especially, if I can have quick feedback with the artists, it's always nice, because then you can be like, okay, I implemented this thing you wanted, and they can say like, yeah, it's what I wanted, or can be like, no, that's not exactly what I meant, and you can have some quick back and forth with them, because in most cases it's kind of hard to describe exactly what you want. So it's nice to be here in person and just can.
If you have it directly in the it's much.
Exactly, and also it's nice to see them, happy with the new features.
Yes, or they can give you cookies and stuff directly in real life. All right, that's he's a Pingu. No, he's not Pingu. He's Otti from Caminante series.
Oh yeah.
It's cheese. No, your
your lore.
No, your open movie characters.
Oh, okay.
All right. More improvements, and what time is it? What? We're almost over. But there's so many other things. Okay, the look dev mode in Blender. when you're in look dev, it used to have used to show you the almost the final render, but it didn't have some of the options, such as the bloom, for example, or it wasn't really working with all of them, but now it is. So if you see it suddenly looking different, it's because of this, and it even affects the ball, the spheres. So it even affects the balls down there. So another one, the speaking of Eevee, when you are in, for example, render mode, and you have a type of sky in your render settings, for example, here in film, if you have a film set to transparent, you are gonna see now the actual checkerboard in the background. So it's pretty nice to see your transparency
working.
Yes, how it works. Yeah, of course, when you render, it's not gonna be there.
Well, it is.
Well, because this is the image editor, but when you save it, it's gonna save as transparent.
Yeah, of course. But in most programs, that's the visualization of a alpha layer. So
yes. Next, it's the workbench. The workbench has new settings. When you're rendering, you can change it so you can render without anti-aliasing. So, which is pretty nice because it means faster play blasts. The play blasts used to take fairly long because the anti-aliasing was kind of hard-coded internally to have to match how it used to be in 2.7.
Yeah. Just to clarify, this is for the video sequence editor, right?
For anything.
Yeah.
For the viewport here, if you do view render, you will see that it will have the anti-aliasing that you select.
Yeah, because I think that the issue was that it didn't get applied in the viewport, but if you render it out, it did.
Yes.
Yes, but exactly. So it was. Some people said that it was fast in the viewport, but as soon as you hit render, it was much slower because it applied anti-aliasing.
Yeah, exactly, by default. Which some people were actually using as a feature, not as a bug.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, it's
now we can control it.
Now you can control exactly what happens. But there must be, I think there was a bug because the viewport will apply some kind of filtering, like anti-aliasing on grease pencil objects on all layers, and now it's not there anymore. So it was a bug being used as a feature, so that needs to be reported.
I think it is reported actually.
Yeah, awesome. And what else? Cycles now supports image loading from arbitrary open color spaces. So that's internally, but it's groundwork for being able to expose those settings.
That's for the standalone stuff, I guess, because you could already set the open color IO stuff from the Blender settings.
Yeah, but not when you load the images, I think, with different...
Oh, okay, yeah, you mean the images.
Arbitrary,
yeah, images.
Yes.
I forgot that crucial part.
Then, okay, just to mention a few, because we are actually running out of time, is that the dependency graph updates for audio component. So there has been like so many commits, mainly for fixing crashes regarding audio and like the Blender player, the sequencer. But yeah, fix it. It should be way more stable now if you have some kind of audio or video on your scene.
Yes, Sergey is working very hard to get it working correctly.
Yes. Now, for example, you were unable to jump between frames if you had AV sync on your playback, and you couldn't jump around. Now you can. And also in the sequencer, the rendering of the scenes is now much faster. So if you use the sequencer with scene strips, now it's like a magnitudes faster than it used to be. The sculpt mode also got improved, performance improvement, but I think we're gonna run out of time.
Yeah, there's a lot of small or perhaps big also.
Some of them, like copy and paste, copying keyframes in the graph editor now actually respects what you had selected. That wasn't kind of broken before.
Oh yeah, I got the bug report about that too.
Yeah, that when you copy, it would copy everything, and when you paste, only the selected. So now it works only on the selection, which makes sense.
Yeah, so just quick, if you had a layer with X, Y, and Z stuff, if you copied the X, Y, and Z values and only pasted the channel that you had selected. So if you had the X channel selected, it would only paste into the X channel the X value.
Yeah.
So if you, for example, want to paste the X channel value into the Y channel, it wouldn't work.
It wouldn't work.
Yeah. But now it's
too bad.
So that's too bad.
That's too bad. Now it works. Then the relax or slide of poses also got like a big rework. Now it works much better. Yes, and add-ons. B-Surfaces add-on has been updated to Blender 2.8.
Oh yeah, that's a really cool add-on.
Yes, lots of people were asking for it. So here, go try it out. I think it's still being worked on, but it got updated to Blender 2.8. B-Surfaces. And I think with that we can call it enough features. We have 8 minutes. 8 minutes, or we can make it longer. But then we can let us know if you're still there, if you're still watching. But
yeah, I mean, I think most people wants to have the questions answered, so I think
yes.
we
So
don't have to ask.
Blender.Today is a community that we're gonna be reading the questions from. 46 comments. Ouch. Ooh. All right, so.
And as usual, I don't think we will have time to answer everything, but we will try
to
answer as much as men.
If you use the voting option, we're gonna vote the ones that are more upvotes. For example, this one. Hi, is there any chance for light linking Blender in the near future? Yes, there is a chance. It's in the roadmap for cycles. I don't know about Eevee, but I bet it should be planned. I mean, Blender Internal had it, so we have to be as good as Blender Internal.
Yeah, and the other guy also says, Andre, that Tangent Animation is probably working on it.
Oh,
already.
Awesome.
So then that probably means it will be merged sometime.
Yes, but that's one of the features we miss the most. At least when I was working on Spring, it was like light groups.
Okay, I actually have no idea about light groups.
Light groups. You select a few lamps. You select an object, and you say it's gonna be lit by these lamps or in this collection.
Okay, so it's only affected by certain lamps. Oh, okay, then I get
it's a night and day.
Yeah.
For lighting. Next question. Mason this. Hi Pablo, what is your opinion to add in Blender today for free plugin place for upload and downloads free plugins like Graphical? Well, actually, Graphical has a add-on category. I don't think no one is using it that way, but maybe it should have its own like when you add a new one. Like for example, when you add a new build, you can set the add-on, yes, to category, but maybe it deserves its own place. If you are interested in it, give it a heart here to this comment. Would be interesting to know. It would be nice to have one place in Blender community to share add-ons, free add-ons, and anything. Every add-on is free, as in GPL. So.
Well, I mean, there are some paid add-ons, but
yeah, many, but they should be available under the GPL license.
Under GPL, but it's
yes. Some people are doing it, and I respect them more for that. If they actually they have their add-on that is paid, they say, "Hey guys, hey, can you please help to continue the development? And I actually want to support those more than the other ones that say, yeah, it's free, but or it's not
those
really.
Developers that do that has big shader balls.
Big, okay. Exactly. Just to say it, spheres, just to say it in a way. Setcorp says, hi, as an animator who used 3D softwares before, I noticed the one thing in Blender that does differently. One thing. Okay, the 3D manipulators behave in a weird way, especially scale and rotate. So when you rotate an axis, you get a dash line string. Okay, surprisingly, the movement manipulator doesn't have this problem or thing. For general work, picture, please. This is irritating when you think you guys should take a look at the animation workflow can be improved a lot. Must be something with the active tools. Are you talking about 2.7 or 2.8? If it's 2.8, maybe it's just something with the new tool system that needs to be improved. But yeah.
I think at least in the old manipulators were kind of like copied from other stuff. So it's not that we just took and did our own thing. It's something that is quite standard, I think. Okay.
Next question. Anand, which Blender 2.7, which Blender 279 or 280 should I use in my Intel Core i7? Well, if you're not specifying a graphics card, then you're probably gonna be better with 279 rather than 2.8.
Yeah, 2.8 is more demanding. So
it needs a bit more. It actually works better with new hardware than it does with old hardware. And 2.7 actually doesn't really take advantage of the newer hardware. So when you upgrade to a new computer, then you can you'll be better by using 2.8. Any new modifier coming? That's a nice good question. Like,
yeah, I mean
all of them with the modifier nodes are coming in 2.81, hopefully. So next question, the Drago asks, why is the remove double vertices not available when you're using face select? Why can't you add it to the X menu? Because in the X menu there are no merge options, and now this is one is called merge, I think. Two questions. Actually asking all the night question. Maybe should we like move to be a bit less?
I think we should stick to just one question
per person.
Otherwise they can just ask 30 questions and
unless like there is one that is super easy. I do love the grease pencil, but will grease pencil be added to the 3D part of Blender?
It's already yeah, it's already in the 3D part of Blender.
Yes, let's try to skip to one by person. Yes, so all right, seeing now. Hey, what's the status of interactive mode? There are no updates, unfortunately. I haven't heard anything. Next question, Hawk Burger. How can we change these baby rainbow tabs in the properties panel only? The settings are in the user preferences. I already explained at the beginning. It's in the themes, user interface, icon colors, and then you can change it from here.
And that should only change the color in the tabs here, right?
In the outliner and in the tab. Like it's for both. It's a one setting that it's used in both.
Yeah, but that was what it was asking, if you could only change them here.
I know you can't. It's just it's everywhere. It's a category thing. So you can put them. You can make them black. Yeah,
you can.
White.
Yeah.
The colors also were removed from here, from the add menu or from any other menu where it didn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah, before the text editor was green.
The text editor was red, and here in some icons were red in the in the shader editor. So yeah, that has been fixed.
Yeah.
Frozen Death Knight. Oh, spoilers tonight. The Game of Thrones. All right. Any chance of seeing better tools for the topology in the foreseeable future?
I mean, Campbell did implement it a bit.
The polybuild.
The polybuild tool. But I don't think we have committed to do something serious with it yet.
Well, I don't know. There are game companies interested in putting in their eyes in Blender, and Retopo is a big part of that, of the game.
Making it more low poly.
Workflow, exactly. So maybe we see some contributions by the community. That will be awesome. Another question. Janive, in my opinion, the proportional editing should also work at the time where you have command active. While moving G, Yes, so not like a model tool. Yes, I agreed. All right. How about a clipping sphere instead of a square? Oh, that would be awesome, actually. Yeah, that would be a nice addition. You know, like the Alt B for clipping.
Mm-hmm.
That would be nice.
I think it's because they, at least in 2.79, they use the built-in features of the OpenGL API, and that's why it's a square.
Ah.
So I don't know if
this thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
At least that's what I
heard. So now in 2.8 it should be awesome, and when we have Vulkan, you can have a shape, you can draw the shape. Next question by Lapisi. Hey, I've been writing an application and now I have to write a blend parser to get some object info. I found some sparse info on the format, but I'm wondering if there is an official documentation on the format. I think at Mind, they wrote in the past about the blend file format.
Yeah, I think I saw there's somewhere there should be some documentation of it, but I mean we add new features and remove old not very often, but sometimes, so it could be outdated, but it shouldn't be like that outdated, so you should be able to use it.
Oh, mystery auth blend. Well, maybe in their archive.
Yeah, the web archive.
Yeah, maybe you can find it.
Machine. Yeah.
But I don't know if he has changed a lot though in the past. Here's in the blend file format. I don't know if he has changed a lot in the way it works. Okay, it's been Photo 4 for a while, so that's the only documentation that I know. Next question. The Linux buildbot is still inactive since April. That has been fixed. Yes. Next question. So the particles in Blender are at the end of their life. Yes. Are going to be replaced with a new system? Yes. That's great. Yes. I'm curious if you know what kind of direction this system will go.
Yes.
Nodes. Everything nodes.
Yeah.
Next question. Michael, can we have the ability to toggle proportional editing while the transform is active? That's the same as before. That would be awesome. I don't know if anybody working on that at the moment, but yes, that would be awesome. Jay, small random question. Would you consider adding the feature of having the topology of a selected object light up, like in Maya? Would you consider? Yeah, in Argentina we say Maya, not Maya. Small random question. Having the topology of highlighted light up. I'm not familiar with that. Maybe pre-selects highlighting, but that's Blender anti-features. There's a list of anti-features, and that's the pre-selection highlighting is there, so you can read about it. Although that thread is quite is from 2012.
Yeah. It's I remember this one.
No, never. You read it?
No, I saw this before. So.
It's a description by Ton why not Blender doesn't have the pre-selection highlighting. Yeah. Basically because it could fail, and the way Blender works is different as any other else, because it in Blender is the select operate instead of the other way around. No, it doesn't follow the same as the other ones. However, now that we have active tools, that has now we have both ways, so maybe it could be not sure.
I think there's something like it with the polybuild tool already.
It highlights. Yeah.
When you're near it.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, yes, right? If you select something and then you use the polybuild,
and you have to add some geometry first in the polybuild mode. It's a bit finicky. Yeah.
There you go. It's like some. Okay. Yeah. Very, very, very intuitive. Okay.
Yeah, it's a bit finicky.
All right. It's 6:05, so let's do 5 more. Okay. You okay?
I'm totally fine.
Okay, 5 more, and we'll call it a day. Why not using the eye icon from the outliner to enable modifiers in the viewport? We already have that. Already exists in Blender.
Yeah.
Why not using the eye for modifying the? Yeah, like
Or no, oh yeah, it's now the
oh
screen.
yeah, it's a screen because the icon is used for the viewport, like just for this viewport, whereas this one is actually for all the viewports. Even if you link your your objects to another file, this setting still applies. Whereas this one, it only affects here. For example, if you have a group and you linked this guy, even if you have it disabled here, it's gonna show up in the other in the linked file.
And I also think that the screen indicates that it's not calculated at all if it's not active.
Yeah,
while
it's true.
The it's the geometry and everything is still calculated. So if you want to have some speed up, you can disable it.
Exactly. When you press the eye icon, it's still calculated, but if you press Alt click when you have the screen icon, it's not calculated at all. Yeah. So that's a way
the same thing with the modifiers, I think. So that's why.
Exactly.
And then also there was one asking if we could have something that's in the sculpt branch in the Blender chat, but I think that
sculpt is one.
Yeah, so some
it's planned for
viewport shading stuff. Yeah, so I think it will make it in when we merge the sculpt branch.
Yeah. And okay, that was number 5. And there are 3 more questions, or 2 more questions. When any plans for window can be freely moved in Blender? Windows can be freely moved. What do you mean? Windows
you can already detach windows and move them around.
Yeah, you can move them around. You can do control click on the border, and then you can put it in other places here, and then you can click in the corner, control click.
Yeah, and you can also create more windows.
Yeah, when you press Alt and click, it will detach it. Or was it shift click? Shift click. It will make a new floating window. You can use and just keep it around like it was 1995.
Yeah, that's really funny actually, because GIMP worked that way, and many people are like, no, single window, and now it's the reverse here in Blender. Not single window, more windows, more windows.
Yes. Okay, that was number 4. Number 3, Jay. Hi, Pablo. Love the settings and tweaks that are going on. Definitely on the right track. Good to hear.
Yeah.
However, is a gradient paint tool in weight painting supposed to have a slider to increase and decrease the influence in the active context menu? The menu is blank after I use the tool.
And I think the gradient is that you drag in the viewport.
Yeah.
And it's from the start of the drag to the stop of drag. That's the gradient range. So no, I don't think we have a.
No, I don't think there. Yeah. No, not yet. Hyundai, Pablo, will Blender ever have a sketch feature like Fusion 360? What is Fusion 360?
I have no idea, so I don't know what.
Fusion 360. I don't know, what is it?
Must be some
important stuff. Free software students. Yeah, free.
Free.
No, it's not free.
You pay with your time.
With your time, with your email, with your data, you have to have internet going on to work, with your being hooked to that software, and after you have to pay for it if you want to use it commercially, or if you want to give it to your friends who are not students, you can't. So it's not really free.
Yeah.
Next. Sorry to get like that, but it's I don't actually know the feature, but it has a sketch feature. Maybe it's something like Grease Pencil.
Yeah, if you want to have it implemented, you can post a nice proposal on right-click select. So we can know what you're talking about, because now me and Pablo have no idea what this feature is.
Eduardo San Marino asks, hi Pablo, is it possible someday we have a checkbox on section tools called select back element, so we can select back vertices without needing to be on X-ray and wireframe mode?
I mean, what would the difference be?
That it's X-ray with the 100%, like you see.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see any new functionality.
No. Question number 2. Michael asks, is it true that the dynamic topology function for sculpting was implemented in Blender before it appeared in commercial software? Yes. I'm not sure. I'm not familiar with other software, but I remember when it was added, it was quite. I
think
Sculptris had it
before.
Oh yeah, because it was an experiment by this developer from Cuba, which got he made some like a prototype for Blender, and then he also got hired for that company or 3D Code by 3D Code, I think. Not sure. It was wow, yeah, long story back in the days. And the last question, again by Adi. I don't think people are going to take kindly the icons where there should be words. And thank you for putting back the screen icon. Kindly icons when there should be words. What do you mean? Not sure. Maybe for the select icons, but that's pretty standard in every tool. And you can mouse over for the
description. Yeah.
Yes. And okay, that was the last question, but actually it was the second by him. So Paul, this is your last question because you're a Blender Cloud subscriber and a Blender Code Quest supporter.
Yes.
Your question will be answered, hopefully.
Hopefully.
Any chance we can revert the volume level from scaling the waveform in an audio strip? Revert. When the volume is 0, the whole waveform disappears. Really neat to see, but pretty useless. It makes it harder to read the waveform. Like it to ignore the level. Yeah, that's a nice feature request.
Yeah, I guess so. Because right now, if I understand the description, it's that when you set the volume to 0, it shows the actual waveform of the applied volume. So if it's 0, then it's 0 everywhere.
Exactly, which is not usually always what you want. For example, I don't have an audio. No, I think I have a video, but it doesn't have. I think it doesn't have audio. But anyway, you will see if you lower the volume, you will see the waveform going down. And yeah, it's. I absolutely agree with you. Some softwares, what they do is they show a line with the volume. So you always have the waveform and a line to decide to say how high is the volume. I think that would be better because then you could see.
Yeah, exactly. So you don't like, okay, there's no audio here, but you forgot that you.
Exactly. All right. Yeah. Oof. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Momotron, for making the thread. And I've been speaking so much, I'm running out of my voice.
Okay.
I'm going to stay quiet until in 1 hour I have the other live stream in Spanish, by the way. If you speak Español, I make these live streams. You say you also speak Spanish.
Un poco. ¿Dónde está la biblioteca?
La biblioteca, yes, exactly. Why everybody searching for the library, but no one goes there?
Yeah, I mean,
you should search for the
first things you learn.
You should search for like the bar or like a hospital or that kind of stuff.
¿Dónde está la Blender Institute?
El Blender Institute. It's male for some reason. Actually, Blender is female. La licuadora. But the institute is male. Languages are so weird. You know what's weird? That we that we arrived to the end of the show so fast.
Yeah.
The this episode was full of news. Sorry that we didn't get a lot of time to answer all the questions.
Yeah, there were so many features.
So many features, but that's maybe it's a good thing, right?
Yeah.
So we're gonna see you again. Well, not to you because you're going back to Sweden.
Yeah, I'm going back to Sweden for a while now. But I hope to be back soonish.
Oh wow! Are you like throwing a spoiler?
Yeah, a spoiler.
That you might be
back in season 3.
Season 3. Oh well, no. Season 3 is next year. This is season 2. Should I call it season so that way we don't have episode 500 or?
Yeah, maybe you could.
All right. This is season 2 actually. It's the second year of Blender.Today.
Yeah.
The third year of Blender. I think of the Spanish, the Spanish, the one that I do. All right. I thought you were Mexican, Pablo. No, I am from. I wish I was Mexican. They have awesome food, and history and culture. But I'm from Argentina, which also has a very delicious food because it's a mix of Italians and Spanish and everybody else. So.
Don't you have a lot of history too?
No, it's only 200 years old, and the guys that were there, like they wiped them all. But the Mexicans, the Bolivians, the Chileans, they all have like such a rich culture. You know, Peruvian is insane. How did we end up talking about this? I don't know. But
I don't know. It can have a special feature.
I actually kind of like this kind of talk.
Yeah.
All right. That is not always Blender. It doesn't have to be everything Blender, right?
Yeah.
It's so late. Sorry.
It's so late.
All right. Watch your headphones, lower your ears if you're wearing
Throw away
headphones.
your headphones.
Throw them away because I'm gonna play now the music that we use to live. And thank you again for coming. I asked him like 10 minutes before hey, do you want to be on Blender today?
I'm like, sure.
Yeah.
Sure, why not?
It's not that I'm working, but yes.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like you do the most of the work either way, so I can be like, yeah, that's good, Pablo.
I got used to it. I convinced them to give me Mondays to do this, so it's pretty nice. All right. Thank you, everyone, again. I will see you again, same time, same place, next week. If there's no holiday, no crazy holiday. No, there's no crazy holiday. So, all right.
Just normal holidays. Non-crazy holidays.
5, 4, 3,
2, 1, go! Yeah.
That is all. See you all next week. Ciao.
Yeah. See you.